Welcome to Movie Culture TV. In this video, I'm going to give you recommendations of movies to watch related to Middle East crisis based on the tense and high-stakes dynamic happening between Israel, the US, and Iran. Here are some of the best films that capture the mood. This isn't about simple war movies. It's about the strategic games, covert warfare, political brinkmanship, and human drama that define this conflict. The what if nuclear thriller, that's the first category. These films tap directly into the primary fear of the current situation, a nuclear-armed Iran and the intense pressure to stop it. Zero Dark 30, 2012. While primarily about the hunt for Osama bin Laden, the film's second half is a masterclass in the CIA's covert war in the Middle East. It features a significant subplot involving the agency's efforts to identify and disrupt terrorist plots in US ally countries. The film captures the gritty, relentless, and often morally ambiguous intelligence work happening in the background of the current tension. It shows how intelligence gathering, drone strikes, and partnerships with local agencies form the backdrop of modern warfare, much like the US-Israeli collaboration against Iranian proxies today. The Iran Job 2012, this documentary offers a crucial perspective, often missing from Western films, a view of everyday Iranian people. It follows an American basketball player who goes to play in Iran during the height of the nuclear sanctions. Through his interactions with fans, friends, and students, the film humanizes the population that is often demonized in political discourse. It provides essential context to the idea that the people are distinct from the regime, reminding us that of the human stakes behind the geopolitical chess game. The Sum of All Fears 2 and 2. While based on a Tom Clancy novel, this film captures the terrifying essence of a modern superpower conflict. When a neo-Nazi group triggers a nuclear explosion at a US football game to frame Russian nationalists, it perfectly dramatizes how miscalculation, false flags, and a failure of intelligence can rapidly signal into a catastrophic war between nuclear-armed states, the very nightmare scenario strategists fear most in a confrontation with Iran. The second category is the Israeli perspective, drone spies, and existential fears. Israeli cinema has produced excellent thrillers that deal directly with the anxieties of fighting a shadow war against enemies who promise its destruction. The Gatekeepers 2012. This is an essential and unmissable documentary. It features interviews with 6 former heads of Israel's internal security service, the Shin Bet. They pick with shocking candor about the moral dilemmas, the tactical victories, and the strategic failures of Israel's security apparatus over decades. Their reflections on the limits of military power, the nature of the enemy, and the question whether force alone can bring peace directly mirror the conversation you are having about the current high-stakes gamble with Iran. Munich 2 and 5, Steven Spielberg's masterpiece, tells the story of Israel's covert response to the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre. A secret Mossad team is dispatched to assassinate the Palestinian militants responsible. The film perfectly captures the paranoia, the moral ambiguity, and the creeping sense of being on an endless cyclo mission. It's a powerful exploration of targeted killings, vengeance, and the psychological toll on the operative, which is exactly the atmosphere of the current shadow war with Iran's nuclear scientists and Quds Force commanders. Bethlehem 2013, a tense, intimate thriller about the complex relationship between an Israeli intelligence officer and his young Palestinian informant. It's a masterclass in showing how the Whack-a-mole game of a counterterrorism works on the ground. It lays bare the manipulation, the impossible choices, and the inevitable betrayals that create moral compromises on both sides, echoing the tragic human cost of the larger proxy conflict. The third category is the broader Middle Eastern theater. These films provide context for the proxy wars and regional instability that Iran fuels through allies like the Assad regime and Hezbollah. The White Helmets 2016. This Oscar-winning documentary short shows the Syrian civil war from the perspective of volunteer rescue workers in Aleppo. It brings the viewer face to face with the brutal human cost of the conflict, showing the daily horror inflicted by the Assad regime, Iran's most critical state ally. To understand the stakes for the region, you must understand the chaos and suffering that Iranian-backed forces have perpetuated. "13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi" 2016. Mike Bay's film highlights the volatile nature of the region and how quickly a secure diplomatic mission can collapse into a militant attack. It reflects the constant, tangible threat that U.S. personnel and interest from the kind of loosely affiliated militias that Iran funds and harms across the Middle East. Rosewater 2014, directed by Jon Stewart, this film tells the true story of an Iranian-Canadian journalist arrested, imprisoned, and tortured in Iran. It provides a chilling, claustrophobic-like insight Iran's brutal moral security apparatus and the deep paranoia of the regime when it comes to outsiders and journalists. A TV recommendation. For those who prefer a series that dives into the specifics of the US-Iran-Israel dynamic. Homeland, the later seasons, particularly the final one, directly tackle an intricate intelligence conspiracy involving Iran's Quds Force, the unit that runs its foreign operations, attempting to provoke a war with the United States. It's a fictional scenario, but one that is terrifyingly plausible and closely mirrors the real-life fears of miscalculation and covert warfare experts discuss today. Subscribe to Movie Culture TV for more.